The following feature presentation is part of the Skywalking Network.
Wabam! And we're going to get to recording. That was our pre-show.
All right, you guys ready for Halloween?
This is what you can look forward to on episode 227 of Skywalking Through Neverland. Yeah, just the creatures aren't allowed to touch you.
No, oh no.
That's a big thing.
Yeah, and after they scare you, they've got to say, I'm sorry. Which makes you think, so when will they close Star Tours? And here's another helpful hint. Don't touch the candy.
Oh. You know what? I love to see the villains, and especially now that Maleficent and the Evil Queen are played by women.
Are you ready?
Off to Neverland.
Here we go.
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome. Disneyland is your land.
When I first made Star Wars, everybody in Hollywood said, well, this is a movie Disney should have made.
You're more than just fans. You're family.
Best day ever!
Secrets lab.
It's about family, and that's what's so powerful about it.
Hey.
When you use a bird to write with, it's called tweeting.
When we visit the world of Disney, we never grow old. It's a Peter Pan, never land that keeps us young in heart.
This is Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi, and you are skywalking through Neverland. I have a good feeling about this.
Hey, Skywalkers! The countdown to Halloween has begun. Then again, Halloween season did start when Starbucks started selling their pumpkin lattes on 4th of July weekend. But if you're ready to celebrate Halloween in a big, big way, then we want to welcome you to
Skywalking Through Neverland.
We are your enthusiastic podcast destination for the many decades of your Star Wars, Disney, and Marvel fandom. I am Richard Woloski, your tour guide through fandom, but everyone please say hello to my pumpkin patch sweetie, Sarah.
I love it. I'm a pumpkin patch.
Yes.
Yay. Yes?
Yeah, I was going to say, we kicked off today by visiting a pumpkin patch.
I know we did. And you know who I took with me to the pumpkin patch? Besides you?
Well, if the Skywalkers are tuned into Instagram, they'll know exactly who you took.
Yes, they will. It was Squirrel Girl. I brought Squirrel Girl. Woohoo! And my parents.
and me.
And I said you first. Yes, it was fun. So we went on the train ride, and we picked out some pumpkins, and they're right in our front yard. And what else did we do? Oh, we went through a haunted house.
A haunted room.
Yes, and the corn maze, right?
Yeah. But this is all geared toward kids.
It is.
Little kids, but we still had fun.
It was awesome. All right. Before we get into this episode, though, we want to give everyone who is listening right now a big Wookiee hug. And we want to thank you for listening to the show every single week. We also want to thank right now our face huggers who are watching on Facebook Live right now. And if you were here, you got a little pre-show in which we read this book by illustrated by Katie Cook. It's called Star Wars Search Your Feelings Galactic Basic Edition. Just came out. And it's from Disney Lucasfilm Press. And we read a few feelings that our listeners were feeling.
And we said before recording, the next one who throws out an emotion on Facebook Live, then we will read that emotion at any given time.
Yeah, okay, this is it. All right, we also love it, Skywalkers, when you share our joy in this adventure through fandom. So if you want, please tweet at us at SkywalkingPod. If you happen to be sitting there and want to take a selfie of yourself, then you can take that selfie. You can tweet out to @SkywalkingPod and share your hashtag Skywalker selfie with us. We love to know what you guys are doing when you are listening.
Now, we are recording this from Long Beach, California on October the 12th, 2018. All right, Sarah or Minnie, whoever voice we hear first, what time is it?
It's 3:28. Good afternoon.
But I couldn't tell which one was which.
I'm sure. Except this one was louder.
Yes. So, very, very nice.
Okay. Nissan says surprise.
Oh, that's
Should
her
we
emotion.
see?
All
Okay.
right.
Okay, let's see
All
if
right,
there's-
then we'll get to this date in Star Wars history.
Ooh, okay. But should we see
Nissan,
surprise?
she yelled out surprise, so let's read the emotion surprise.
Oh, there is one. Okay.
So we're going to read this once again from Star Wars Search Your Feelings. One of those cute little Katie Cook books.
Calm, guilty. Ah, here we
Surprised.
go. Surprised. What? Guess what scene that is, you guys? What scene, Richard? Can you describe?
Well, this is from The Empire Strikes Back when Luke finds out that Vader, spoiler alert, is his dad.
So I'm going to read this poem here. And now it was written, this book, by Calliope Glass and Caitlin Kennedy. So here we go. Surprised. Luke thought he was an orphan, the only Skywalker around. But the boy was in for quite a shock. The truth would truly astound. The mysterious villain, the evil Darth Vader, was actually a Skywalker. A Jedi named Anakin, a hero who had turned, and most shocking of all, Luke's father. Was that supposed to rhyme? All right.
Some of these do, some of these don't.
Yeah.
Just run with it.
Poor young Luke was startled and stunned. He was just so very surprised. He wasn't a baby. He was almost grown. But he couldn't help it. So he cried. Oh, boy. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not on board with this one here.
Okay. Yeah, the hopeful one was better.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know what they're trying to do
Yeah.
by saying that even though you're grown, you can still cry. But just using he's not a well. Okay. All
Okay.
right.
That's okay.
You know
That's
what?
okay.
Thank you, Nitzan Harel, for
Yes.
for calling that one out.
Yeah.
That one was dedicated to you, Nitzan Harel.
All right.
All right. So we were on this date in Star Wars history. So Sarah, let's continue by saying what happened on this date, October the 12th, 1977.
Ooh, okay. So, The Empire Strikes Back was revealed as a temporary title in Variety.
I recall this.
Okay.
I recall the end of 1977 when The Empire Strikes Back was going to be the name for the new Star Wars film because Lucas didn't want anyone to call it Star Wars 2.
Okay.
So he was quick to give it a name.
Gotcha.
So in the press, people wouldn't keep asking the actors because all the actors were being interviewed like every day. So they didn't. And one of the questions was, "So what's up for Star Wars 2?" And Lucas wanted to say, okay, not Star Wars 2." So he immediately got on that title.
That's smart.
Yeah. All right. Now on this day, October 12th, 1982, Del Rey released the Jedi Masters Quiz book, written by 11-year-old Rusty Miller.
Wait a minute. That name sounds familiar.
Yeah, well, we posted this today on our Facebook page.
Didn't we interview him?
No,
Oh,
not yet.
Okay.
He's kind of elusive right now.
okay. I thought we did.
No, he's out there. He kind of wants to keep to himself.
Okay.
So I won't tell you what his real name is because I know I want to preserve his privacy.
Well then.
All right. So this book had 425 cosmic questions and answers, which Rusty had compiled over the course of a few months. He got out all of his Star Wars books and just rifled through them all and looked for all these potential questions.
Okay. So, what are some examples of some questions?
All right. Well, you know what? Let's see if you, Sarah, can answer some of these questions.
Okay. Oh.
All right. How many horns does a tauntaun have?
2.
Gonna start you off easy. Where did Luke and Han meet?
Luke and Han met at the Star Wars Cantina in Tatooine.
Was it called the Star Wars Cantina?
No, it was just the cantina.
How about this one, which is a little bit more difficult?
Okay.
What was 3PO's first job? He says it to Uncle Owen.
Oh, my first job was programming load lifters.
What kind of load
Very
lifters?
similar to your evaporators.
What kind of load lifters?
Come on, I got load. Was binary load lifters.
Binary load lifters.
That's it.
See, there you go.
Yeah.
All right, how about this last one? Who was Red 6 in the Battle of the Death Star?
I want to say Hobby. Porkins? I don't know. I don't keep track of that.
Think Donald Wicks.
Porkins.
Oh, there you go. He cosplayed.
I just said Porkins.
You were guessing. You didn't say.
Well, yeah.
But you also guessed hobby, too. So
Yeah.
I wanted a definitive answer.
Man.
That's right then. I remember getting this book back in 1982, and being the same age, I thought, wait a minute, who's this kid all of a sudden?
Right.
Why is he writing books? So I spent that fall memorizing every single fact in there. And one of the questions was, name every track on the Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back soundtracks.
Wow.
So I spent the rest of the year memorizing each and every track.
That's so cute.
Just so I could say, you know what? I know them too, Rusty. You know, little did I know back then, he didn't know this stuff. He just saw it. Okay, I can write this one as a question.
Right.
He didn't memorize it.
Oh, so you know more than him.
Yeah. Yeah, let's go with that. But still, you know, hats off to Rusty for actually doing this.
Agreed. All right, well, what's coming up on this episode?
Well, we have part 1 of our Halloween celebration. And we're going to share our Halloween experiences we've had so far, like at Mickey's Halloween party and Not Scary Farm. Earlier today on this episode, we shared our time at the pumpkin patch down there in Irvine.
Yeah.
And then later on tonight, we're going to go to the Long Beach Aquarium for their Halloween party.
Yeah, an adult Halloween party at the dive-in.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be awesome.
So we'll share that one next week.
Yeah. We also have shout-outs, a happy beeps from Mark Newbold, and
Things we want to share.
Things we want to share. Things we want to share. Things we want to share.
So a big thank you to all the Skywalkers out there who listen to our new show, Star Wars Resistance Flyby. And this is going to be our weekly new show where we break down and recap the current Star Wars Resistance episode.
Yeah, including musical breakdowns and Easter eggs, which kind of are our specialty.
Exactly. And pointing out classic creatures and things that, there's a question that arises from each and every episode. And let's go ahead and point this out and put it on Twitter, on Facebook, and see if anyone has the answers.
Yeah, it was super fun. So our latest episode, if you want to listen to this Resistance Flyby, it will be in our main Skywalking Through Neverland feed. So if you're already subscribed to us on your favorite podcatcher, you'll get this show as well. You're welcome.
So next week, we're going to recap and I don't want to say review, because we're not really reviewing it. We're just breaking it down and discussing it.
Yes.
So next week, we will break down and discuss the Triple Dark.
Oh, awesome.
Which we've already seen, thanks to Hulu. Thanks, Hulu. And they're getting very, very fun. The first one, like we said on our show, wanted to speed things along just to get all the kids hooked.
Right.
And now we're seeing how the stories are progressing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm loving this series.
You showing up always means trouble.
I knew you missed me.
Here we go.
Oh, this is exciting. I appear to be tingling all over.
All right, I have something I have to share.
We are all ears.
Okay, thank you. Well, the show is half Disney, so it has to be, some ears there. Okay. Martin's asking if I have... Yes, I do, Martin. I have something to share. It's my Marvel Rising dolls. Ah! Okay, so in the last couple weeks, I've talked about Marvel Rising and how it's a really awesome animated show that has all different forms of diversity, including body shapes and religions and character. It's just amazing. And now I have Marvel Rising dolls. And what I did is we reviewed them. Richard was kind enough to videotape me reviewing and unboxing the 4 Marvel dolls, and you can go to our YouTube channel right now and watch those and then see those dolls up close. So Squirrel Girl is the cutest thing ever, and you'll see her, and then Ms. Marvel, and then we have Patriot and also America Chavez. So we have those video reviews of 4 of them up on our YouTube channel right now. You can head to youtube.com/Skywalking Through Neverland. And we also want to thank Disney for sending us these adorable 11-inch-ish dolls. And true to the animation, each figure has a different height and body shape. So I would have so killed for these things back when I was a kid. Oh my gosh, they're so cool.
Fun fact, before we started recording, we couldn't find our Zoom recorder. Guess who had it? Squirrel Girl.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's all about the squirrel. Squirrels do not like recorders.
Oh, that's true.
I'm just saying.
Oh, she confiscated
Yes,
it. Well, her
yes.
and Tippy Toe, who was voiced by D. Bradley Baker, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Well, they were conferring this morning with Secret Squirrel out in their front lawn. It's like, what's going on out there?
I know.
Next thing you know, our recorder is missing. It's like,
Uh-oh.
dude, this is where we live. Back off.
Secret Squirrel.
All right, Richard, do you have something you would like to share?
All right, I want to share something that Christopher Marino shared with us, and that is the OC Register, which is a newspaper down here in Orange County. They had reported that Disneyland will cancel the Jedi Training Trial of the Temple show at Disneyland on November the 3rd after 12 years.
Whoa, oh no.
Give yourself to the dark side and learn the true nature of the Force.
Not be persuaded. Activate.
Now, this is the Jedi Training Academy show where the kids get to battle the Star Wars villains. And surprisingly, I never got to be a young Padawan in this show.
No, you've helped a Padawan, though.
I haven't been a Rebel Spy or a Padawan, but yeah, you're right. If you go back to episode 88 called Jedi Training Academy's Oldest Padawan, that's where we helped our friend Matt, who is blind, and we helped him up to the Jedi Training Academy floor. And usually this is just for kids.
Right.
No adults, but they weren't going to say no to us, seeing how I already had Matt shoved up on the floor.
Yeah, you were his helper.
Yeah, I was his quote-unquote helper.
So you've been closer to me then than doing the Jedi Training show.
But they wouldn't give me a lightsaber. They would give him a lightsaber.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
they wouldn't give me a lightsaber, even though I asked them.
Aww.
I guess I'm just not a Rebel Spy or Jedi Knight worthy.
I'm sorry. But yeah, it's sad though. I really, this is a fun show. It's always fun to be walking there, and, a lot of the times the show is going on and we'll hear it and we'll hear the music and we'll get, glimpses of Kylo Ren or Darth Vader, and it's just fun to watch.
Well, the OC Register says it makes sense that Disney would move the Jedi Training Academy from Tomorrowland to the new themed land based on the Star Wars movie franchise. So we knew it wouldn't last long there.
Right, but to cancel so soon, I would figure it would extend a little further.
Exactly, yeah. Unless they want to get something new and they've got to build a new stage and design a new show.
One thing I was thinking of is a lot of the performers, perhaps they're tapping them to be in the whatever new show that they're creating, and they need them
to rehearse.
To be doing that. But it still seems a little early even for that. But who knows?
Right.
Yeah.
Which makes you think, so when will they close Star Tours?
Oh, no, bad.
Oh, very, very bad.
Uh-oh. Oh.
Now, the article goes on to say the decision to cancel the Anaheim show will not affect Jedi training performances at Disney's Hollywood Studios near Orlando.
Huh.
So maybe that means our Galaxy's Edge will open much sooner.
Maybe.
Than Hollywood
Oh,
Studios.
that is a good conjecture. Martin Keeler brings up something in our Facebook Live. He says, it won't make sense for a new show in Galaxy's Edge as there are no Jedi left. More likely it will be a new thing.
Yeah.
Even if it is a new thing, they would still tap some of the same performers, I'm sure.
Oh, I wouldn't have thought they would move the show. They want to do something brand new.
Oh, yeah.
And Martin, you're right. Yeah, there are no more Jedis. However, I'm still certain there's certain factions out there. Now, for those who are unfamiliar with the progression of Disney's Jedi Training Academy, here's some fun facts we compiled. Now, in the original version, younglings trained under a Jedi Master then battled with Darth Vader or Darth Maul, and this ran from October 2006 through November 2015.
Wow, so almost 10 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Goodness.
It was in 2009 that we took our wedding pictures over there, and we got a chance to get Darth Maul and Darth Vader and some stormtroopers in our picture. So I guess we were that much closer to getting up there. Even when we were getting married, they wouldn't let us up on the Jedi Training Academy stage.
No, they just told the performers in their earpieces to turn around.
What's it going to take?
I know. All right, so here's another fun fact. In December 2015, the new Trials of the Temple opened. And here, kids trained under Jedi Master Venzel Marklar. And then after their training, this is when the kids used the Force to open the doors to the temple. And Darth Vader comes out. And the seventh sister from Star Wars Rebels.
What an odd choice. The
Yeah,
seventh sister.
I know.
Of all the characters to pick.
Well, at the time, we thought it was pretty cool.
Oh, it is cool that they use such I would say, a C-level character.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I would have maybe Asajj Ventress, Savage Opress, but I guess the Seventh Sister. Oh, she had a cool costume.
Yeah. But then also Darth Maul emerges in that show as well. So you got a lot of characters in that particular version.
Mm-hmm. So in the end of this show, the younglings would push Darth Vader and the Seventh Sister back into the door and hoping their troubles would be over. But nope, that's when Darth Maul would come out.
Uh-oh.
So this was, I recall seeing this for the first time and how surprised we were at this twist of an ending.
Yeah.
Because you would think that, okay, the show's over. Darth Vader and the Seventh Sister have been vanquished. But what is this? And Darth Maul comes out. Okay. All right. Then on February 21st, 2016, Kylo Ren replaced Darth Maul at Disney's Hollywood Studios. At Disneyland, Kylo Ren made his first appearance in the show, replacing Darth Maul on March the 5th, 2016.
Okay.
I loved seeing Darth Maul, but to see Kylo Ren for that first time, it was very scary. I can recall, because we were there that first day that Kylo Ren made an appearance and how scared the kids were. They were more scared of Kylo Ren than Darth Maul.
Wow. I can see that, though. It is kind of freaky.
Oh, very, very freaky. And then on September 17th, 2017, Kylo Ren replaced the Seventh Sister in both parks.
I think that was a good move.
As much as I love Kylo Ren at Disneyland, I hope they cast someone soon who's a little bit beefier.
Yeah. Our Kylo Ren's very, very
thin.
Yeah. I think he probably also plays Chewie because he's very tall as well.
Well, he's wearing lifts. But he's a little too thin. So we'll be sad to see the Jedi Training Academy go under, but they should at least do a day for adults.
Oh, that would be cool.
They need to really do that. But I don't think it's going to happen. But you know what? Let's be there on November 3rd, and maybe we can ambush the stage.
That's a good idea.
Who's in? Skywalkers, who's in November 3rd?
Woohoo! Tweet at us at SkywalkingPod.
All right, now, Sarah, speaking of Disneyland, let's tell everyone about our adventures at Mickey's Halloween party.
Yes, okay, so we kicked off the Halloween theme park season with Mickey's not-so-scary Halloween party at Disneyland. Wow, what was this, September 24th, I think?
This was
that
last week of September.
Yeah.
And it was still early enough to go, wow, we are really making the most of our Halloween season.
Yes.
Because whenever you can do something like this in September, it always feels like Halloween is that much longer. Even though, once again, we were buying pumpkin spice lattes at Starbucks the 4th of July weekend. Oh, hold on. Martin Keeler says that he's in to ambush over at the Jedi Training Academy on November 3rd. All right, Martin, we'll see you soon.
Okay, well, one of the fun things about Mickey's Halloween party is that we can dress up, basically. So, Richard, what did we dress up as?
We dressed up as R2-D2 and BB-8.
Yay!
So, I was in my R2-D2 Oppo suit.
Yep. And I was in my BB-8 dress from Redbubble.
Now, do you recall...
Actually, it was Gold Bubble. I'm sorry, from Gold Bubble.
Do you recall last year when they said adults couldn't wear costumes anymore? At that point, we said, yeah. You know what, we're out. That first time we went to Mickey's Halloween party a couple of years ago... I was Captain America in my big fancy schmancy Captain America costume.
I think I was Jedi Tink, right?
You were Jedi Tink, yeah.
Yeah, I took pictures in the Pixie Hollow area. It was awesome.
It was so much fun.
Yeah.
And the next year, I was Thor. You were Mary Poppins. You got in trouble because kids were taking pictures with you.
Oh,
and a line started to form.
Yeah.
And the cast members came over and said, "Oh, no, you can't do this. You can't form a line." Well, I'm not forming a line. The kids are forming a line.
I know. Sorry. Yeah, that was funny.
We just can't get a break over there at Disneyland. Always getting in trouble.
Well, this year we went with Dave Scale,
our ghost host, and we brought backpacks. Big, giant backpacks. See, at Celebration, you can't have backpacks. I just won't allow it. Because you're going to bump into everyone, and sooner or later you're going to get slammed by someone's huge Chewbacca backpack. But at Disneyland, during the Mickey's Halloween party, you got to bring backpacks for all the candy they give you. And they give you lots and lots of candy. Because when you go in, they'll give you this little tiny paper bag that you can fit maybe a Malamar, a Twinkie, a Twizzler, and an Almond Joy. At that point, you're full. The bag's full up. But if you're smart, you got to bring these big, giant bags. So when the doors open, Sarah, what's the first thing we ran to?
Well, okay, so this is a helpful hint for anyone who's heading to Mickey's Halloween party, and that is if you arrive before the time that the Halloween party starts, you can actually head to Toontown right away. So that's where we went. Because the doors are always open at Disneyland. They're still getting regular guests in and out, right? Mm-hmm. So you can actually arrive about 3 hours early. So Toontown opens with some fun, some...
meet and greets.
Yeah, meet and greets and some candy cane lanes. Mm-hmm. And that opens an hour before the actual Halloween party. So we went there first.
Yeah, and here's another helpful hint. Don't touch the candy.
Oh, well... Okay, yeah, because they hand the candy and put it in your bag.
You cannot touch the candy.
No.
And guess how we found that out? Because they had thrown a little bag of carrots in my bag. I don't want carrots. So I took them out and I threw them back into their pile because I didn't want to waste them. You would think that I just poured red ants and killer bees into this big candy box the way they looked at me. And because once they give you something, that's it. They can't take back any candy that you may have touched.
Yeah, for some weird reason.
The carrots are all wrapped up, but since I threw it back in there, guess what they did? They took the whole box of carrots and they took them away. Because
like it was contaminated.
Yes. I resent that.
I know.
And it gets worse because I had reached over and grabbed an Almond Joy, which I love. And guess what? They took out the big box of that candy.
They did?
Yes, because my hand went over in there, and I guess my contamination contaminated this big box of wrapped candy.
Oh.
So they had to get rid of the carrots and this big tub of wrapped little fun-sized treats.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
Yo, would have thought. You would have thought they were going to cancel Halloween at that point. Oh, they were livid.
Wow, but they couldn't really do anything to you. We were just kept on going through the line and we looked back and saw them like taking away these buckets of candy.
And I saw the cast members trying to point out who it was. Like, I'm in an R2 jacket. How hard can I be to find?
Wow.
But you know what? Have a sign there.
Yeah. Like, must not, I don't know, touch candy or something.
Yeah. Don't handle the candy. That's for a trained professional to do.
Exactly.
Oddly enough, we did not see Secret Squirrel. Just when you thought you would see Secret Squirrel, no squirrels to be found.
Secret Squirrel.
Martin Keeler is a helpful hint for next year costume, Richard. You should go dressed as the Contaminator.
That's hilarious.
Well, that was a weird thing that happened, but right after that, we got pictures with the chipmunks.
That was your favorite.
That was my favorite. I was so excited. And I had heard from the Toontown people that the chipmunks were going to be showing up at like right outside Toontown. So we went over there and we got pictures with two characters we didn't recognize so much. Clarabelle Cow and someone else. And then I know. And then they left in like 5 minutes. So we got right back in the really short line because the chipmunks weren't out yet. And so when the chipmunks came out, our line got really long, but we got pictures right away.
Yeah, I think they fed these chipmunks a lot of the candy. Maybe the candy that they had to throw out just to get these two hopped up because they were sugared up big time.
They were awesome. I love them. Aw.
Those are your favorites. Those are the ones you always go to get pictures, and I can see why, because they're just so mischievous and fun to hang with.
Well, it really began when we went to Star Wars Weekends and got pictures with the Chipwalks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the Chipmunk Ewoks.
With Daniel Berry.
Yep. That was my favorite. And Lindsay. Okay.
And Lindsay Berry.
Yes.
I was trying to think of Lindsay's last name at the time.
I don't know.
It eluded me, but our good friends Daniel and Lindsay, now Berry.
And then we also got to hang out a bit with Bryn McKinnon and Paul Berry and Calvin of Window to the Magic as we waited for the Halloween parade.
Okay, Michelle on Facebook Live just asked, "What's wrong with carrots?" It's not a Reese's peanut butter cup. That's what's wrong with carrots.
And they're the baby processed carrots, which if you've ever eaten organic carrots, you can't go back.
Even our bunnies won't eat it.
Yeah.
All right, on with the story.
Okay, like I said, we were waiting for the parade with Bryn and Paul Berry of Window to the Magic, and Paul was actually there recording a special Window to the Magic Recurring Supporters Club episode. So here's a small plug for him. If you are interested in that one and more, head to windowtothemagic.com and click on the link for the support level of your choice, and then you will receive bonus episodes of Window to the Magic each month and be offered a lot of different opportunities, such as this Halloween party event episode. So people who had already contributed to that will get to see or hear us and see us on his show.
Yeah, all hopped up on Snickers and Three Musketeers.
Yeah. How was your overall feeling of this Halloween party, Richard?
It was fun. It was enjoyable. But, we're seeing the same things every year.
Well, you know what? I love to see the villains, and especially now that Maleficent and the Evil Queen are played by women.
Finally, yeah.
Like before, Maleficent's my favorite, but it was always played by basically a guy in drag, and it wasn't the same like dynamic as what I'm looking for in Maleficent. She's an evil woman.
So you really, really enjoyed your time.
I did.
As did I. However, it's just getting to be the same thing every year. So I want something new. What that is, I don't know yet. Maybe more shows.
I think, honestly, it's the people you take with you. I think that's how you have new experiences.
That's very true. Maybe next year we'll go with someone who hasn't been yet.
Oh, that might be fun. Definitely. And I thought the Frightfully Fun Parade was great. They had a good Haunted Mansion float. I actually felt like we enjoyed ourselves a lot because we had already been to the park to check out all the other Halloween time stuff, such as the decor and also the rides, Haunted Mansion Holiday and Ghost Galaxy. So we were able to really experience a lot of what the Halloween party had to offer.
You know what I think it is? I'm comparing it to that first time you and I went to Disneyland, that Halloween circa 2006.
Okay.
When everything was brand new.
Well, yes.
And we had a great time just going throughout the park, doing the arts and crafts and taking pictures with all the new characters.
Yeah.
And I guess I just want that sense of newness again. And since we've been every year, it's losing a little luster.
Well, we kind of go every other year, but we've definitely been the past couple years. So maybe we need to take a year break and then come back.
Okay. All right. Let's try that out.
Okay.
Now, Sarah, let's roll into a discussion with your dad, Peter Heitman, about our adventure at Knott's Scary Farm. This is a must-do park.
For Halloween.
Knott's Berry Farm of Buena Park, California, is the location for Knott's Scary Farm's Halloween Haunt, an event that has taken place here since 1973. But what exactly is the Halloween Haunt? Most people see it as one of the largest haunted attractions in the world, considered to be the granddaddy of all Halloween haunts. It's been quoted as the ultimate Halloween experience, the biggest Halloween party anywhere. And it's one of the only places in the world where you can feel like you're starring in your very own horror movie. Thousands have experienced this event, and most will say it's like nothing you've ever seen. It can cause chills of terror in some and complete euphoria in others. It is known the world over as the first and largest attraction of its kind. It is the one and only Halloween Haunt.
Last week, we went to our favorite Halloween theme park, Knott's Scary Farm. Now, that also goes by the name Knott's Berry Farm during the rest of the year. Now, this year was special because we got to go with a Knott's Scary Farm newbie and see the park through his eyes. And that newbie is my dad, Peter Heitman.
Hey. Also a father-in-law and elite member of the Skywalker Force.
Oh, yes.
And Peter, because you were in the next room putting in our new floors, we thought, hey, take a break for a few minutes. Come on over and share your experiences at Knott's Scary Farm.
Glad to do it. As long as it's only a few minutes, because I really have to get back to that project.
Believe me, yes you do. Yes you do. Peter, let's start at the very end because I'm really eager to hear your thoughts. Did Knott's Scary Farm meet your expectations? Because I know you've heard us talk about it for the last couple of years.
Short answer, yes.
Now, is this your first Halloween scary theme park experience?
It really is. As a kid growing up, I can remember various times going to a farm, for instance, where the main reason to be there was for a hayride.
Well, what about corn husk mazes? Did you do that?
We never had a chance to do that. But
living in Wisconsin?
No, we never did. But at the property where I grew up on, there were a couple occasions where we'd use a lawnmower to cut mazes in the field. Oh. And we had, multiple acres there, so it was pretty easy. And usually in the middle of the summer, the cousins would get together, and we ended up with a big relative party. And that was always, the most interactive. But for Halloween, nothing like this. This is just amazing.
So was there one thing that you were looking forward to? Because I know we've talked about it beforehand. You've heard our past reviews. So were you looking forward to the maze, the whole scare experiences, the shows?
I was looking forward to the mazes.
Oh, okay.
Because not having had those in the past, and just theoretically liking mazes, it's been something I've always wanted to do. And so here it was combined with the Halloween theme. My gosh, how better.
And that's why we had to start you at the best maze of the park, which is called Trick or Treat Lights Out. Now, when the gates opened, we ran right toward there because that one has the longest line of any maze. So we figured we got to get that one first and foremost.
Yeah. So let's tell our listeners about this maze. Now, this is kind of what Knott says about it. Armed with only a faulty flashlight, explore the creepy house at the end of the street in the upgraded Trick or Treat Lights Out maze. Face the terrors of the house in complete darkness as your interactive flashlight reveals the horrors hiding in the shadows. Featuring new state-of-the-art effects, unexpected scares, and other eerie surprises, Trick or Treat Lights Out will terrorize you like never before.
Does that sound accurate, Peter?
Oh, very much so.
Was there any high point to this maze?
I'd like to talk about the experience of waiting in line.
Oh, okay.
That's a first.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, this just being among you guys, okay, is always a treat. All right. And then here we are in line. Darkness has ensued. There's all sorts of fog coming, down the street, wherever we were. Great music blaring all over the place. And in the background, of course, not so much a background, here is this wooden roller coaster with, screams coming at you because of the people on the roller coaster. And it just added to this whole environment. Of course, we're in line for how long? Maybe a half hour to get into that first one?
Yeah.
And I'm sure it was going to be longer later in the evening, but that just really added to the anticipation that, wow, it's cool out here. Now, what is it going to be like inside?
What is awaiting you in the depths?
That's right.
For me, I really like this haunted house the best because it harkens back to the vintage Halloween haunted houses that I went to as a kid. Whereas some of the other mazes rely on the gross out factor, the gore, the blood. This is just vintage. Like in one hallway, we see Ben Cooper masks on the walls.
Lining all the walls.
Yeah, nothing says vintage like Ben Cooper. And here's this hallway just aligned with all these old Ben Cooper masks.
Well, and then when you first walk into the house, there's a staircase with all the jack-o'-lanterns going up the staircase. And it's such a neat reveal.
Yeah, and another thing that harkens back to vintage Halloween are jack-o'-lanterns.
Yeah.
So now, Peter, you had recorded this maze. So as we went in, you had your high-tech camera, and you recorded some audio.
Yes, it pretty much as an experiment. I had never done this before. I didn't know exactly what the light level was. So I assumed that it was going to be so dark that the image was not going to turn out whatsoever. And so I really didn't pay any attention at all to what the image was. I let the camera run just with the automatic level control. And I tried to stay close to you two so that you could kind of dictate what you were seeing.
Let's listen as we try to narrate our way through this maze.
Hey there! All right, entering the trick-or-treat lights-out maze.
Pumpkins! I love that.
Who's gonna be the first one to pop out?
I don't know. We have our flashlights in our hands.
All right, ghosts are already starting to pop out.
Ooh, it's a grandfather clock.
I think Tier's standing right there. Stop it!
Hey!
Stop yelling at me! Keep yelling! What's the matter with you people? Peter, what did you say to them? They like you.
Oh, look, it's your mask.
Oh, we're now in the Ben Cooper Hall of Fame right over here. The Ben Cooper mask on the wall. The bunny rabbit, the hoochie. What the hell is that? I don't know if this thing on the bed is real or not. I don't know if that's real.
It's gotta be.
That's an Knott. Okay, room number 3. Room number 3.
All right.
Bunny rabbit. It's a hoochie. It's supposed to be nice. Bad hoochie. Bad.
What a
Sometimes
beauty.
walls are just not walls.
What a beauty.
The floor must be so dirty. Get off of there. Off the floor. I hate things hanging from the ceiling. I don't know where they've been.
Yeah.
Don't watch. Security guard. Sorry. My bad.
Our flashlights are flashing.
Uh-oh, there's something.
That's like John Carpenter music here. All right, so there we go. That was the trick-or-treat lights-out haunted maze of death at Not Scary Farm. That was fun.
That was great.
Woo! There were a couple of places where I think we heard your voice primarily because you were kind of dictating what you were seeing.
Right.
So
right. Because that was the one that really I really loved. And in the video, which you can't really see anything but my David S. Pumpkins Halloween jacket. That's pretty much all you see.
Yeah.
Now, Peter, being a high-tech guy, what did you think of those flashlights they gave you?
Oh, that was really cool because they would switch. First of all, they were fairly dim, and you can actually use them to see the faces of the creatures that came at you. So I thought that was really nice. And then, depending on which room we were in, they stayed on, or they started flashing, or they switched to black lights.
Yeah.
That was just a real surprise.
And didn't they at one point start vibrating a little bit?
Yes, they did.
I was like, ooh, they're vibrating in my hands.
What a great addition to a haunted house, something I've never seen before. They want you to experience the layout of the haunted house.
Mm-hmm.
You had asked me earlier about how does this stack up on how would I rate this on a 1 to 5 scale? And I said, certainly the effects, the layout, the design, that's a 5. But as far as how much impact it had, I gave it a lower number. I think 3 or something. Oh. And the main reason is my expectation going in was that it would be more tactile, that there would be more scary stuff in my face. And I think because of safety reasons and whatnot, they can't do that. But I kind of expected more, strange things hitting me in the arm or something like that. And for that reason, I gave it a little lower as far as impact.
Okay. Well, we did see that in other mazes where things were hanging from the ceiling.
Right.
And you've got to go through these big cushion things.
Yeah.
That'll give you the experience of claustrophobia.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, just the creatures aren't allowed to touch you.
No, oh no.
That's a big thing.
Yeah, and after they scare you, they've got to say, "I'm sorry."
Well, not that far.
What a time we're living in.
No kidding.
All right, well, one of the new mazes really made a splash with us. No pun intended. And that was the depths.
A heavy fog drapes over an abandoned port village where ancient creatures lurk inside the pitch black underground caves hidden below the seaside shores. The Night Watch mining crew has mysteriously disappeared, and village rumors point to the eerie tunnels the town sits upon. Myths of the terrifying horrors that lurk within the cave have often been whispered, but never confirmed. Did the crew meet their demise at the hand of vicious creatures that live within the cave? Answer? Probably.
So this is an example of a story that when you're walking through the maze, you don't get.
No.
But you still enjoy the experience.
Right. In fact, the performers inside of this maze were all dressed as miners.
Yeah.
And I thought, that's odd. Why are they dressed as miners?
Why not a pirate ship crew or some kind of interesting.
Right. But then as you go along, the performers are dressed like shark people and creatures. So there was a story there to it. But had there been like a Star Wars type crawl at the beginning, that would have cemented things.
Yes.
And there are the audio voiceovers at the beginning of some, but you're busy talking to your friends and you don't really hear that.
Yeah. But this maze was super cool because they had some stuff they'd never done before in a maze. And that is when you reached one room where there was like caverns, they had these lasers like mid-level in the room, like at your tummy level or something. And it looked like between the lasers and the fog, it looked like it was actually half submerged in water.
Yeah.
So you saw people walking through in front of you and they looked like, they were half in water.
They were in the green murky water.
Yeah. And then you're walking through and all of a sudden someone pops out at you, a shark face pops out from underneath the water.
Very, very Jaws-esque, which I don't want to get into.
That's the thing that really surprised me and is the most memorable of this whole trip was that cavern with you're walking through this eerie lagoon.
Yeah.
With creatures floating in the water, just their heads showing. It really was so realistic. You would swear that you were in, a half-filled cavern of water.
Absolutely.
Oh, it was the best effect I'd ever seen.
Wow.
It really was, because you're not just looking at it, you are immersed in it. Now, how did they do that?
Yeah.
And this is what we meant a couple of years ago that got us banned from Universal Horror Nights.
What?
that we gave them the critique that maybe they need to up their game a little bit because every year is just feeling the same.
Right.
And next year they said, you're not welcome back because you gave us a bad review. But this is what we're talking about, upping the game with this kind of technology that makes you feel like you're immersed in this experience. And that murky green laser water was a perfect example.
Mm-hmm. And then the next room, I think you were walking on a bridge and there was tentacles from a big octopus creature all around you, like not even just in one area, but throughout the whole room.
Right. This is the vicious creature that was rumored to be below the city.
Oh.
Below the village shore.
The village, yeah. I don't think it was a city. But yeah, that was so neat. And the shark guys were awesome too.
Right. And I'm very happy that they're going the Disney route of not doing so much digital projection and everything was live, which gives it a little bit of a campy feel, but that's okay. That's okay. I'd rather see the campy live animatronics or puppets and creatures.
Yes.
And I know one year they did try a little bit of digital technology, but I want to see this being, as Peter, you said, tactile.
Yes.
I want to see them right there in your face, and I want to see things that could reach up and grab you, because if it's digital, that's not grabbing you.
No.
No, but like you said, Sarah, they had tentacles all over this room, and you never knew what could grab you.
Yeah. All right. Well, speaking of upping the game, Richard, I know when we got to the park and we looked at the park map, which tells you what to expect and where the mazes are and what shows there are, we were pleasantly surprised to see that they had added a show or changed up some shows.
Yeah, and that's what, going into this, we had thought, I hope they change the shows up because we've seen the same Elvira show again and again and again.
Every year, yes.
It's pretty much the same show. Great production value, and she always wows the crowd.
Right.
But we were ready to see something different.
Okay, well, back in years past, they always have this little improv comedy show. They've had like a hypnotist show. So this year, I saw that they had brought the improv comedy show back.
The Hacks.
Yes, and the Hacks cutting room floor actually took over Elvira's show place.
Yeah,
so
the Charles M. Schultz Theater.
Exactly. So Elvira was not there, which was actually surprising in its own right.
Yeah, she's always the spokeswoman for Not Scary Farm.
Mm-hmm. And I actually looked at her website, and Elvira is obviously not at Knott's this year. Instead, she's going to various Comic-Cons and different like spooky, like Salem something horror fest, all during the weekends of this month, instead of being at Knott. So I think she just wanted to change it up herself.
Good for her. Good for her.
Mm-hmm. So, okay. So as it comes to the improv comedy, we went there first because we had to go see this show. So this is what Knott says about this. It says, the improv comedy trio have taken over a rundown movie theater, and with the help of the audience and lots of B horror films they create on the spot, a Halloween show that will have you screaming with laughter.
I'd say it's pretty accurate.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know about.
I agree.
I didn't scream with laughter, but I definitely did laugh.
Some good hearty terrorizing chuckles in there.
And Richard, because they asked for audience member suggestions, and then they had audience members come on the stage, and then they wanted a married couple.
So, of course, our hands shot right in the air. And
absolutely.
We're yelling and screaming, over here, over here.
And they picked us.
Of course they did.
And they ended up using us in a skit where they used our names and Dad's name in our 9th wedding anniversary B film scene.
Yeah, so they asked us our names, a relative, and Peter, you were sitting right next to us, and I told them that we're going to be celebrating our 9th anniversary in a couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. So they took all that information and they played this old movie. I don't know what, not even a B level movie, more like a C or D level movie, a black and white film for about 4 or 5 minutes, and yet they would do the narration, they would do the voiceovers and use our names and our wedding anniversary as the premise.
Right. They played it silently, and whenever you saw the actors' mouths moving on screen, they would insert, comments that kind of related to us.
Yeah. And luckily, Peter, with his camera right there at the ready, recorded the whole thing.
Ah, yes. Are we going to hear some of that?
Oh, okay.
Yep. Here we go.
Congratulations. Richard and Sarah, is there somebody in your family on either side that when they come to your house, you guys are like, oh my God, this person terrifies me. They're trying to freak me out a little bit. Look at each other's eyes right now. Look at each other's eyes. Say the name of the person that really freaks you out from either side of your family. Who is it?
Peter.
Peter.
No.
Peter?
No.
Peter wasn't even looking up. Peter was just like, what did you say about Peter? What does he do?
What does he do?
What does he do that freaks you out?
He fixes our house.
Yeah.
Fixes your house.
Yeah.
Where's the last place you guys had an errand? What, like Ralph's or post office? What?
Lowe's.
Disneyland.
Lowe's and Disneyland. Somebody has different ideas of what an errand is. All right. So here we go. We've taken a horror film clip. We've removed the sound out, and what we're doing is we're going to do your story. And check it out up here. Beware Disney errand.
Richard, I think this place is nice.
Oh yeah, well we'll go in here and get we'll get some lumber and some supplies. I want to insulate the bedroom so the sound. We'll get some supplies. Oh,
Richard.
It's like, they're having a white sale at Lowe's. I've often come to Lowe's for my shopping.
Oh, Richard, let's talk about what we're going to do for our anniversary. It's only a week away.
I remember back to 2009.
I don't.
First, you were drunk when we first met.
Oh, good point, Richard. You always take care of me when I'm drunk. I really appreciate that about you.
9 years. Wow, I think that's the tinfoil anniversary, right? I'll get you some nice...
Never been the rebel spy, but here with your spouse, you were front and center.
Well, of course, because Sarah was right there. Had she not been right there, they would have said, not that guy.
Yeah.
If he can't be a rebel spy, he's not going to be part of our comedy troupe.
Anyhow.
That's just the way my life goes. All right, now let's talk about the hanging. This is their big tentpole show.
Mhm.
Their big main attraction.
This is what it says. The hanging is a no-holds-barred assault on pop culture's most infamous moments of the past year.
There you
It's a
go.
must-see parody.
Yeah. And last couple of years, it's really been driven by those pop culture references. But this time, the whole thing was centered around not being able to say anything for fear of a lawsuit.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That is true.
So they were very, very short on the pop culture references. There were plenty of them,
Yeah.
but not as heavy as before.
Right. Well, you know what? Let's get a newbie's view. What did you think of the hanging, Dad?
Well, in a way, it was a little confusing
Okay.
because I didn't quite understand some of the references. Number one, again,
Neither did we.
There's a few. Neither did you.
No.
Good. That makes me feel better. There's probably a few decades of they're targeting this towards an audience that's a little bit younger than I am or we are.
Yes.
And but nevertheless, it still was entertaining. Great use of the stage. They had this big tower that this one guy would climb up, and he'd shoot off a rifle or something, and he always ended up falling off of that tower for some reason. It was a nice effect.
Yeah.
Whereas we didn't like the blood and gore of some of the mazes, this was heavy on the blood. But it was very campy, where you could see them holding blood packs.
Yes.
And then when one character would throw the other against the wall, the blood pack would go off. But it was extremely cheesy and campy, and it was perfect.
Mhm.
Yes.
Of course, they made some Star Wars references.
Yes.
Han Solo and Lando Calrissian were in there.
That's right. And at the beginning, wasn't there like a Jedi, I think?
That was last year.
Oh, okay. Well,
They had the big purple creature from Infinity War. What it was the Grimace from McDonald's.
Oh, is that what
That's the big purple creature, but with a very low-tech Infinity Gauntlet.
Right, and he was wearing the helmet of what's his name from Infinity War?
Thanos.
Thanos, thank you.
Yeah.
The gauntlet of Thanos.
Yes. So they're talking about they're setting up this big purple creature that can snap their fingers and cause destruction along the world, and here comes the Grimace from McDonald's.
Wow.
So that's the kind of level of comedy, which worked out great, but Peter, like you had said, this is geared toward like a 20-something audience now, so a lot of the references, we're all going, what is this? But all the teens around us were going, oh, that's so funny!
Yeah.
That's hysterical!
They had like YouTube references.
Yeah, a lot of the references now are taken from YouTube.
And music, like popular music, which we're not into. So, unfortunately, it was kind of lost on us. And if I had to do the night over, I probably would have skipped this and headed toward the north side of the park, which we never even ventured into.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Well, at the end of the show, they find the most offensive person of the year and hang them. And the last couple of years, we not known who it was.
Yeah.
Who is this? Who was a YouTube sensation from August 1st through August 2nd?
Right.
And this year, well, they had so many choices, they hung a few people, including, spoiler alert, Roseanne.
Oh, yeah.
And someone else who I did not know and don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, did they actually hang any but the last one?
No, they didn't.
They got close to it.
Yeah.
But then someone worse would come along.
Right,
Yes.
right. They did hang, as I'm recalling now, a YouTuber who went over to another country and found a real live hanging and YouTubed it.
Yeah, like they wanted to find dead bodies in a forest or something.
Yeah, because this forest was known for their hangings.
Yeah.
So this one quote-unquote reporter went over to, I think it was, I want to say China, but I could be very wrong with this.
It was.
Dave Scale explained the whole thing to me.
Yeah.
And he thought he was doing something very Geraldo Rivera-esque, but he just got slammed for it. Like,
yeah.
Dude, don't show us dead bodies on YouTube. So he was hung, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, now the last show was The Conjurer. And this was a magic variety show, so I was all over this one.
Mm-hmm.
And the performer was Chipper Lowell, who we've seen before, but I don't recall his show from me. Dave Scale had said we'd seen him at the Magic Castle.
Okay.
But luckily we didn't remember him, so the whole show was new.
Yeah, woohoo!
So Peter, what was your reaction on the Chipper Lowell show?
Well, I don't quite remember, for some reason, specific acts that he presented, but it was always a twist on what the audience was talking about. Or expecting. That's exactly right. And
well, he tried to trick us. Like, he had a paper bag with a wine bottle in it and would say, "Oh, it's disappeared." And he just put it in the bag and lift his hand and go, "Oh, it's disappeared." And then he'd take it out. "Oh, it appeared again," without doing anything to the bag.
Without showing us that it had been empty.
Yes.
And so the audience was really kind of tricked into thinking that this is a really poor magician, because he couldn't really make the bottle disappear.
All right, don't reveal the ending, because I do the same trick in my magic show.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Well, you can always cut that out.
Well, then he did something at the end that made it seem like he was a real magician, actually. So I won't say what it was then, because you don't want me to reveal the ending.
No. Let's not reveal the ending to this particular show.
Oh, okay.
It was a good way to end the night.
I agree.
It was a very high-octane show, so it gave us the energy to walk back to our car.
But at the same time, we got to sit and chill out after bombing around the park all night.
Yeah, a very high-energy, very frenetic performer.
Mm-hmm.
But it worked. It worked for the audience. And I myself love those kind of performers, because they just exude so much energy.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, let's get into our final thoughts of the evening. Now, I know, Dad, this was like your first time, so you have some newbie experiences, but Richard and I can kind of compare to the past. So, Richard, did you have any comparisons or final thoughts?
Yeah, they had new mazes, which they do every other year, which I really like. They had new shows, so it was a whole new experience.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, we want to thank Not Scary Farm for providing us with these complimentary passes.
Absolutely.
And the same thing almost happened years past with the big red button.
Uh-oh.
We were in a maze, and everyone thought this was the continuation of the maze, but it was really behind the scenes, behind the curtain.
Yeah, the people in front of us took a right turn,
yes,
and we all followed them.
Yeah, so we went behind the scenes, which is what happened when me and Dave saw the big red button and thought, okay, this is part of the attraction. Let's go ahead and push it.
Yeah.
which shut down the whole ride, the whole maze. And the same thing happened here, where we all went behind the scenes we weren't supposed to. And unfortunately, there was no big red button.
Yeah, I know.
But I was looking. Had there been a big red button, just because of history and what they deserve for not steering us the right direction, I would have pushed the big red button. Oh, who am I fooling? It's a big red button. I'd push it regardless.
I know.
Regardless where it was.
That's too much fun. All right, for me, just comparing it with past years, I was so glad that there was more shows. And, Elvira not being there, I didn't miss her, but I did miss the crowds that her show drew. Because the mazes that we went to did seem a little more packed than usual, and we actually didn't get to all the mazes, which usually we do every year. So I was glad, but then oh man, this is the first year in a while that I feel like I almost need another night to complete the experience.
Right. Yeah. Because if you want to see all the shows, you don't really have enough time
to do the mazes.
Unless
you buy the front of the line thing.
Right. We went on a Thursday and it closed at 1 a.m., whereas on a Friday or Saturday it closes at 2 a.m.
Yes.
I wonder if that would have made a difference, unless the crowds were much bigger.
They are bigger, which is why they have more time on Friday and Saturday. So, yeah, I guess you'd have to try it.
Mm-hmm. So, overall with the park, what was your feeling, Peter, of the layout and how it really grabbed you?
The production value, I suppose.
Yeah.
Oh, just 100% immersive. You couldn't enter that place without just feeling the vibe of what they were trying to get you to feel.
Any examples of how?
Oh, from the very beginning when that fog started rolling in, and what you could see clearly a few minutes ago suddenly became very murky, and the music came up, and it was spooky sounds, and it. What can I say? I was there, and I'll never forget that experience ever.
Wow, that's saying something.
I can't wait till the next time
Oh.
and to see how they up the game next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and between the PA system having that spooky, eerie sounds and a soundtrack with screams, then you actually hear the live screams of people as these monsters appear out of nowhere.
Or they're on the roller coasters.
Yeah. And some of these creatures that would slide by on those knee pads that were metal, so they spark.
Yeah, exactly. That was really cool too. And then there were places you got to where the fog was so thick you could actually not see a foot in front of your face.
I was in Ghost Town.
Ah, yes. And then you back up and some of the fog was backlit and you could see, if you just stood there, people and creatures emerging from this fog bank backlit. So all you saw was a shadow. It was just great. I think we got some good photos that we shared.
Yeah, we did.
Now, what do you think of the makeup of the creatures running around? Because some parks we've seen are a step up from Party City. And this, well, let's hear what you have to say first about the overall production of the creatures and how they looked and their scare factor.
Well, it was done to a T. These creatures could have been on a movie set, and I don't care what movie they were from, they were just detail. There was nothing left to chance. It was not campy at all. It was real crazy creatures.
Yeah, and Sarah and you and I had gone to a press day a couple of years back, and they showed us the makeup rooms and
the prosthetics.
Prosthetics and pictures from years past where they've had a fleet of very professional makeup artists making everyone up to perfection. Because having been in that makeup field before, when a creature would pop up, I would kind of look at their seam lines and see where the face met the foam latex, and it was perfect.
Wow.
It was really, really well done.
Well, I didn't know those kind of details. I would expect you to, of course. But again, I was there just as a 100% spectator, enjoying every aspect of this.
Yeah.
Now, if your speed, Skywalkers, is more spooky than scary, they also offer Knott Spooky Farm, which is aimed at families with very young kids, with a lot of entertainment themed around Snoopy and the Peanuts. Knott Scary Farm and Knott Spooky Farm, they continue until October 31st, so you still have time. And for more info, go to knotts.com.
Now, Dad, did you have any parting thoughts?
Don't miss it.
Nice. Well, that's an endorsement if ever I heard one.
Well, thank you, Peter.
You're so welcome.
All right, now
can I get back to work?
Yeah, please do. Those floors won't lay themselves. See, now that was a theme park. They changed it up this year, and it was like a whole new experience.
Oh, yeah, it was amazing. That one room just blew us away.
Right,
and that's all you need.
And seeing it through the eyes of your dad, a horror theme park newbie, that was really, really exciting.
Absolutely.
And now, segueing from scary to happy, here is a happy beeps from our good friend, Mark Newbold.
So this is Mark Newbold from Fantha Tracks, and what makes me happy about my fandom is, and it always is, it's meeting other fans. So it's going to events, going to conventions. Doesn't matter if it's in the UK. Doesn't matter if it's meeting a friend down the pub to have a chat about the latest Star Wars film. It's always cool when you go to Celebration. So for us, generally, every third convention is in the UK now, which is wonderful. So we can catch up with people from the UK and welcome friends from around the world. But it's always nice meeting people and catching up with folks that you might talk to on social media, or you might chat to on Facebook or talk to on a podcast. But it's always cool to actually meet face to face every now and again, hit that nice little reset button, because, you know, you can go years without seeing people and then you bump into them and you pick up the conversation you were having like it was 5 minutes ago. So for me, my favorite thing about fandom is the other fans and just enjoying Star Wars, because life can get so hectic when we're all busy people and there's always stuff going on. And then you may have periods of being a Star Wars fan that are not as cool as others, or life makes it take a back seat. But then when you're really in the midst of it and you're just enjoying it for what it is, like now with Solo out, Solo's just been amazing. and it's just every time I watch it, I'm grinning from ear to ear. It's nice to share that love of Star Wars with other fans who enjoy it or have a great time with it. So for me, always it's enjoying other fans.
Shout-outs, Skywalker shout-outs. Which Skywalkers get props from here in Neverland? Who has tweeted out? Shout-out. Who has photoballed? Shout-out. Who has shared a post? Shout-out.
So last week, we just put out our first Resistance Flyby episode, and we were so happy to see some of you tweeting about that. In fact, I want to give a shout out to Jeff Fishbach, who is at Porgbach on Twitter. And he tweeted, "Love hashtag Star Wars Resistance, and so happy that Skywalking Pod is the first pod I've seen to do a recap show." Aw, so thank you, Jeff. That warmed our hearts. I know some other podcasts are doing it, and we definitely want to hear their shows, but we were happy that you found ours first. Right?
Yeah, thank you. It was a lot of fun putting this episode together where we broke down and recapped The Recruit, and I'm still looking forward to recording our next one where we cover The Triple Dark.
Yes, we still have to record that. Well,
tomorrow.
Yes. Okay, I also want to give a shout out again to Jeff Fishbach, who also tweeted a hashtag Skywalker selfie. So here he says, "Going to try and start a new weekly tradition, sending out my Skywalker selfie to my friends over at Skywalking Pod. Don't know how exciting my selfies will be. Most all of the time I'm listening at work. It's where I need my happy escape the most." Aww.
Wow, a double shout out?
Yeah, and then he tweeted a picture of himself in his cubicle at work, and it's amazing. It's got all decorated with all the Star Wars posters from like all the films. Yeah. And he's all up to date too. He's got Rogue One, he's got
The Last Jedi. Now, there is a workspace I could enjoy going to.
Yeah.
All right, now let's read an iTunes review.
Okay.
This one is by Because Omari is Already Taken. This is from our good friend Omari, who lives right in the area right over here.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, oh, you know what? Read it in your voice.
Oh, okay.
Because she's a girl, so she needs a girl to read this.
Okay, well, first of all, it's 5 stars. Thank you, Omari. And she says, "I absolutely love this show. And not just because I got to be an honorary Skywalker of the week. Heh. Richard and Sarah Woloski keep me informed and current on all the different things happening in the Disney universe, from Star Wars to Marvel and so on. They have fascinating guests, plenty of helpful clips and sound bites, exciting panel discussions, and so much more. You won't regret a moment with Richard and his sweetie wife, Sarah." Aww.
Nice.
I love it.
Well, you know what? Jeffrey Fishbach got 2 shout-outs.
Okay.
And so will Amari, because she's in Italy right now.
What?
And she sent us this.
Hey, this is Omari, skywalking through Neverland all the way from Italy.
Well, thank you very much, Omari, and let's make this a thing. If anyone's in a different country, which many of them are right now.
Yeah, I know Martin and Mark are like in New York.
No, they're back now.
Oh, are they?
They're back from New York.
Okay,
Comic-Con.
well, pretend you're in New York and give us a what is it?
Well, that's not a different country.
A voice memo?
What are you, Joey Tribbiani?
Wait, what? New York's different than where they live. In England.
I'm talking about different, shout-outs from different countries.
Well, different country than them. Man.
New York is not a different country.
It's the afternoon. I need a nap.
We're getting punchy. Speaking of Starbucks.
Yeah, ooh. Is it time for a pumpkin spice latte?
Yeah. So, why don't we just wrap things up right now by asking everyone once again to send us a shout-out from a foreign land other than the country of Long Beach.
Skywalking through Neverland.
Well, I think it's time to wrap up this crazy episode 227 of
Skywalking Through Neverland, our fun Halloween celebration, part 1.
We would like to thank my parents, Peter and Norma Heitman, for celebrating all these fun Halloween things with us.
And we want to thank all you Skywalkers for weighing in with all of our posts on Facebook and listening every week and tuning in on Facebook Live every week. Mm-hmm. And for becoming part of the Skywalker Force.
Oh, yes. because you can be a part of the Skywalking Force. So if you want more Skywalking Through Neverland in your life and access to an exclusively designed t-shirts and swag, and in some cases free t-shirts and swag, then head to skywalkingforce.com. That is basically our Patreon page, and there's different levels that you can do. So if you sign up by October 27th, then you get a special t-shirt right away if you sign up for the highest level. So check it out now, skywalkingforce.com. Now, if you'd like to support us in a different way, please just share the show with a friend. We would love that. Or you can click on the links to Pozu shoes, Oppo suits, or TeePublic on our website, skywalkingthroughneverland.com, or in the show notes, which you might see in your podcatcher right there.
Now, Skywalkers, send us your Skywalker selfies.
Yes,
Especially from another country.
Oh, that would be awesome. And then head over to our YouTube channel where I have those new Marvel Rising toy reviews up. You can subscribe at youtube.com/skywalkingthroughneverland.
Now, you can also find Skywalking Through Neverland at jedinews.co.uk and Bantha Tracks. And all the episodes that published over there at RetroZap can still be found under the archived podcasts.
And if you want to catch up with us on social media, we are at SkywalkingPod for Twitter and Instagram. You can also email share@skywalkingthroughneverland.com. You can email sound bites to that email as well. And we have our Facebook group, which is a wonderful place. It's a closed group on Facebook. So you can search Facebook for Skywalking Through Neverland group. You can request to join and then answer the questions that pop up.
You must answer those questions. There are people still sitting in limbo because they haven't answered the questions.
Indeed.
Now, as always, we want to see your reviews on Apple Podcasts or Stitcher and let us know what you think and leave us as many stars as you'd like.
Now stay tuned for some bloopers, some crazy bloopers, and other fun conversation after these credits. And always remember...
Neverland on Alderaan.
Some imagination, huh?
To our Skywalkers and Tweetwalkers, thanks for listening. Skywalking Through Neverland is created and produced by Richard and Sarah Woloski. Original music by Rob Dellinger. Creative consultant Mark Augushowitz. Technical advisor Peter Heitman. Facebook administrators Donald Wicks, Joey Pittman, and Norma Heitman.
Skywalking Through Neverland is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Any sounds, music, and clips played during this podcast are the property of their copyright holders. All original content is property of Skywalking Through Neverland, all rights reserved. Sorry, had to be said. Take two.
All right, I have something I'd like to share.
Well, let's hear it. Well, yeah, we really need a nap, everybody. We're best recording in the morning.
I really have to record this right now.
All
Okay.
right.
Okay, so I have something I have to share.
Well, share it.
It is...
Nope, that was horrible too. One more time.
Okay, I have something that I have to share.
So?
What was that? That was so mean. Oh my, I'm married to this person.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay. Padme has a secret, one she's afraid to tell. Worried and frightened, she waits and she frets. Her concerns she can't dispel. She married her friend Anakin, and now they're having twins. The problem is their love is forbidden, and thus all their trouble begins. Okay. Mark Newbold and Martin say they got deported. Aww.
Oh, Martin's in San Francisco. Oh.
Next week.
Oh,
yeah.
Darn it.
I know.
Darn it. Sorry about the hashtag rich swears, but darn it.
All right, Skywalkers, if we suddenly go away, it's because our phone ran out of battery.